Hello, and still a little bit good morning here from Inkish in my house. This is Morten, and I have the pleasure of talking to my good friend Stefan from a company in Belgium called Genscom. So, welcome and good morning and Happy New Year.
Yeah, good morning and Happy New Year also.
Mm. Stefan, we're going to talk about what Genscom do for a living, and which you told me just before that you have a new product that is still not 100% ready, but we will talk about it anyway. But Genscom, the way I remember that you and my colleague Jacques spoke about it some years ago, I think it was during Corona. It was about using printed paper, like a newspaper, to communicate for customers. I mean, come on, isn't that too old school? I mean, paper and communication.
It seems like it is old school, but I think I don't have to convince you that a printed thing is more has more power than a digital communication. So print is present, is there, it's visible, it's you have especially with newspaper you have a lot of surface, you can add a lot of content. It stays there. You can create a wow effect, what we say in Flemish. So when you got your newspaper and it's personalized and you got your name or your photo or your company's photo on the first page, you will look at it and you will go through it. And with digital communication, you don't have that effect.
I can't help thinking about, because also one of the things you told me just before we turned on the recording was now you also own the company that actually prints the newspaper that I'm going to show people in a second. So if I should put you in a box, are you a publisher, or are you an IT company, or are you a printing company?
I think we are a communication company.
A communication. So that puts everything in one box, basically.
Yes, yes, that delivers print. But
Mm,
besides print, we also delivers digital communication, because you can't. It's not of this or that. It's together. You have to combine everything. But print is really a valuable thing for us.
mm,
People are willing to pay for print and not for digital communication, and
mm,
so it's really valuable for us. And we bought the print room, the print company, uh, not because we want to become a big printer, but it's a strategic decision to have everything in house, and so that we can, yeah, make our service to our customers better, and that we can manage that easily.
mm. So let's talk about what it is that you actually do, because one thing is that you print a newspaper, and I can show very briefly. This one is a tabloid size newspaper, and it's printed on some nice uncoated paper, or semi gloss matte paper. And it has the format and the design of a newspaper, which I think is an intention from your side as well. So what is it you deliver? As far as I understand from what we've been talking about earlier, you provide text if people need that. You provide design if people need that. And I guess that you also help people with photos if you need that. Is that the entire process that you help your customers with when they engage with you?
We deliver all technology to create a newspaper or a magazine or something else. But we focus on people who are professionals in layouting or in creating content. So we focus on, yeah, other people. So we make our platform or our process as easy as possible, as user friendly as possible. So our
Mm,
mission is we want that anyone can create his own newspaper.
mm,
And yeah, we're pushing the limits of technology at each time to that make it better and faster. And
mm,
because we know time is very important for us. We learned in the last 10 years since we exist that people like to make a newspaper, or to create a newspaper, but the problem is that it takes time.
mm,
So we have to help them to do that as quickly as possible. So we have to support them with all possible things. And that's on three sides. First of all, content. We help them to gather content to from various sources like social media or manual input or websites. We help them to organize the content and to store it in a database. And we apply also AI tools to get to search and to generate new content. And then we help them also to create with AI new content. We arrange and formats the content into a professional layout, and this both for print and for digital output. And so we use AI as much as possible to help our customers to save time.
So it was not entirely wrong when I asked about the box that I wanted to put you in, because I guess that I mean, when you say that you help your customers organizing the data and collecting the data, writing the data, formatting the data, all the things that you put into a database, I guess that that requires that you also deliver some kind of platform for your customers. And I remember from your website, it seems that you have a very intuitive way of also in the layout tool, so people don't need to have an InDesign program or anything. It looks a little bit like when you see these online shops where you can make business cards very easily, but here with a way more comprehensive tools in the designing. And I guess so these let's say elements that you drag into your design are then associated to the database, so you can take that text and put it into the right placeholders. Is that how it works, or how does it work?
Well, we have on the website you have a schema and figure where the whole process is simply explained. So you have the input side where you can do input of information content manually or by AI or from a website or all things like that. And then we have a text bank, what we call a database for texts. We have a database for images. We have a database for figures. We have a database for other things, for icons and things like that. In the database for content, there we have different tools to put the content in it. One of the AI tools we built already 3 years ago is a machine learning tool based on machine learning, and you can scan older PDFs or even older newspapers. You can scan them, and the tool will uh, put out or pick out the different articles and put it and order it in a good way, and also the images that go with it and the subscriptions that go with it, all the things together, and we'll digitalize it and store it like that. And then we can use RAG on it. RAG is retrieval augmented generation to create new content or to repurpose the content. What is the advantage of that is that you create your own private database with content and information, and you are sure that the content is correct, that's reliable, so you can regenerate new content uh, on the yeah
Yeah,
on,
based on what it has learned, so it is accurate, so you don't have to train it every time.
yeah.
So I guess that is also a very smart move from you guys, because I guess that when you have customers starting to use your service, it is very encouraging to use it for the next magazine and for the next magazine, because you have the data and you can add to it, right?
Yeah. And also the data, let's say from the only the PDFs is only since 2005 that they are digitalized, and before there are PDFs, but they are not in a digital way. So everything from the last century is is not on the website or is not on the web. So we can offer a solution reuse this data
Mm.
without it putting it in on the global web.
Mm. And I mean, you stressed just a few minutes ago that what is really important is to make it as easy to use as possible. So, I mean, the typical customer that you have, because the one I have here is from our joint friend G from Kexino, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. But let's say that who is your typical company? Is it or customer? Is it small businesses? Is it creative people? What type of people is a typical customer?
It's very large. We start with B2C. Anyone who wants to make a newspaper for a birthday or for a marriage or things like that, they can use our platform to do it.
Mm,
And we print it and we deliver it over the globe. We send one newspaper to the United States or to Japan. We do
mm,
that. Uh, we have large member associations who are clients, and
mhm,
they have their own platform
mhm,
based branded to their association, and so they can manage their communication from the top to the bottom with. So locally, they can communicate locally, but
mhm,
the national top can control it.
mhm,
Um, that are typical organizations with a lot of memberships.
mhm,
Then we have a big group is homes for retired people, for
mhm,
elder people who live there and who have their monthly magazine. And
mhm,
so we support them also with text
mhm,
and content, but also with games that we develop ourselves. So
mhm,
again, to save time to those who have to make that magazine.
mhm,
Then we have commercial companies who want to
mhm,
communicate with their clients
mhm,
in a personalized way.
mhm,
We did some good publicity or good campaigns to influencers to other clients. So and and now we are focusing on one-to-one papers that you can make very in one click a
mhm.
newspaper and that can give the right content to the right people.
When is it your company?
It's my company together
Mm,
with I started 10 years ago because I developed a digital platform for a publisher
mhm,
who had a weekly,
mhm,
a very special weekly.
mhm.
In this case, it works with over 2,000 volunteers that send in texts and photos every week.
Okay.
And it was it is printed in 400 different editions. It is for the Catholic Church in Belgium. Uh, so they had difficulties at that time to produce the newspaper in the
Mhm,
classic way, and I
mhm,
transformed it to digital printing and also to a platform for doing yourself for
mhm.
creating the newspaper. And they all
When
joined me in the company, and now
mhm.
I took over the company took over the print room of the partner.
Okay, okay, fantastic. Stefan, 10 years ago when you started Genscom, was that like was it very easy going and getting the first customers and convince people that this is the right way to do, or was it a steep hill?
It's hard. It's hard.
Mm,
It's not
mm,
so easy.
mm,
Especially B2C is very difficult to reach
mm,
a great number of customers. But we continue to work on it every day and to
mm,
enlarge our services and to propose new things and especially focus that everything can be integrated in one system
mm,
and that we can build and continue to build day by day.
mm,
After 10 years, we invest a lot in software. Now in the print room, we still building I started.
It's a never-ending story. I thought you knew that.
It's a never-ending story, and it costs a lot of money. But okay, it's well, it's really yeah, I like it.
Mm. But yeah, I understand that because I think it's, and I would tell people that you should go and check your website because I was also surprised, to be honest, that the prices on the finished product is actually quite cheap as well. I mean, of course, people in the printing industry can say that okay, we can do it cheaper because we have our own machines and things like that. But when you look at it from a B2C or B2B perspective, and you want, let's say, 100 copies, and I tried it. I think it was an 8 page, 100 copies delivered to Denmark, was it was like 2.5, €3 per piece, thing like that. And I was just wondering, that is almost impossible to think that you can start up anything and get it delivered in a short time and then have all the help from your platform, but also the skills that you have built into the platform. I was really positive surprised, and I have decided, I can tell you, and we have not planned this, but I have decided to make an inkish product using your service because I think this needs to be tried. So
Yeah,
I will
no
definitely do that. Um, but just before we continue on this one, I was just thinking that a 10 years journey, I guess it has also given you a lot of, let's say, learnings from customers. So when you look at the customers, what is the biggest challenge for them? Because I mean, you sit in the communication department and you say that it would be great to have a newspaper and we have 100 customers. How do we get started? And maybe they think, okay, a newsletter on an email, that is the easy peasy part, right? But how difficult, and where is the bottlenecks for people that are looking into to doing a printed paper?
Well, the bottlenecks is especially finding time.
Mm,
We realized in those 10 years that our customers they have to do it beside their regular job,
mm,
and it takes time. Uh, you can build uh, an editor that is very user friendly, but even if it's user friendly, you need time to create your magazine or your newspaper.
mm,
And so now we are focusing really on how can we reduce that time. And with AI, you can do a lot. 10 years ago, it was not possible. It must
mm,
be user friendly, and you could deliver content and games and things like that. But now you can do more. You can, as I said, we have the archiver that you can reuse. Uh, older content. We have rack, where you can create your own content. We have uh, another tool based on AI to generate a layout. So if you put in your text and your photos, uh, this tool will automatically create a layout based on what you want on your preferences of
mm,
layouting.
mm,
So we're using it now for the weekly newspaper. The local
mm,
pages are made totally automatically,
mm.
um, and uh, and the newest thing that we are working is the AI paper. There we It's a
And
tool that
that was the one I got
yeah,
here from,
yeah.
because I picked it up when I was cleaning up after the non event. That our friend G, he apparently forgot his version, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we had already contact afterwards, so
Okay, okay,
we
that's
are
good.
in communication. But
Mm,
this tool is automates the full creation of a personalized newspaper by syncing with CRMs and media channels, and
mm,
so that we can automatically generate high relevant articles for specific audience or individuals.
mm.
That's
How
the
difficult is it to rely on AI? Because I mean, we are using AI for a lot of proofing, and for when I write, I use Grammarly because I'm not that good in English, and for English news, we're using an API to ChatGPT. But we still humanly proof all the languages in order to be sure that it's not entirely crazy what is being published. Um how do you work with the content to make sure that it is relevant to your customer?
Well, first of all, the sources you use to the content, you have to limit it because and be sure that you use the right content and not
Mm,
content that you can find anywhere.
mm,
So that's why the RAG is retrieval augmented generation is really important.
mm,
You can rely on good content.
mm,
The prompt that you uses or writes, we tried a lot. We help our clients to make it better. We do it
mm,
for them, and
mm,
we keep it in mind that it
mm,
can be corrected.
mm,
Uh, that's special. Sometimes you don't have to use that much AI.
mm,
Sometimes they have
mm,
good content on their website,
mm,
especially when they want to communicate about certain subjects.
mm,
Where you can use what is on their website. And the advantage is with our AI generator, we can adapt that content to the layout.
mm, mm.
So it,
But that
it
is,
does make a
I guess
network.
that is super smart, and it answers the question that where because I was thinking that I remember when I was working as a marketing manager once, as you say, time is really critical, and also I think that when it comes to I mean, you can always, I guess that, I mean, I know that you can, of course, do any design that you want, and you can upload your own design if you want to do that as well. But I'm just thinking that, sometimes you need to have something that is a little bit fast, which has a very high quality and just makes it easy in order to communicate. I was just about to say that if you're in a corporate environment where you need to have, let's say, a staff paper that is sent out to 300 people or 4 times a year. This seems to be a very efficient way of doing it, or as you say, to the personalized versions to customers, or even in copies of one. Which again, I mean, if you talk a newspaper in copies of one, I mean, 10 years ago that was almost impossible to even think of, right? But today with the technology, of course, it is possible, and as cost is driven down also in the digital print space, it becomes more and more an option for both privates and for companies. So I think that was great that you explained how that will be done. Let's talk a little bit about this version here. You said it was is still like a prototype, but this is an example of something that is generated on using Genscom, right?
Yep.
And is this entirely AI?
Not all. You
Okay.
see the inside pages or something we use as eh, the goal is it's a one-to-one newspaper. So you adapt what you want to. It's between Genscom and G in this moment. So the
Yeah.
first page is okay. You have the name of the client on it,
Mm,
and the first article is the value that Genscom could be, or what value can Genscom create for that company.
So
That's
in this example, this is your pitch to G,
yeah.
telling about the advantages of Genscom.
Yeah, yeah, and that's made by AI. And
Okay.
that is, it's based on our website and his website.
Okay. And I would say when I look at the text, because I read it, and I must say that I didn't think of it as AI when I read it. Sometimes you can read something where it is almost too perfect. It is sometimes so perfect that you think this smells a little bit like AI, but this I didn't have that impression with this one. So is that kind of technology, is that based on third party technology, or have you developed these kind of language models or whatever it's called to do this yourself, or
Third part
third
technology,
party?
but it's yeah, it's let's say it's experience already with using it and
Mm,
how to adapt it. And well, we're working constantly on it and to make it better
mm,
and not to exaggerate. So make it a normal way of communication.
yeah.
Uh, and on the last page, I think you have the storytelling of the yes, of the company.
Yeah.
That's also made by AI. And somewhere, and I think on the second page, we try to say what a newspaper could be, or the value of a newspaper for that company and the opportunities. Yeah, yeah. So let's say the 40%, I think is done by AI, and the rest is it's our services, our what we think about print. But in this case, if it's for another client, you can do a part by AI, right, to communicate directly and to personalize it. The rest of the services, yeah, they don't have to change for every client. That's
If you
what
wanted to pitch me from English on this one, right? Would you be able to basically then is it like adding a URL or connecting to my LinkedIn, or how does it how would you do it in case that you wanted to pitch me, for example?
uh, if I want to create such a
Let's say that you want to pitch you this is for G and Kexino, right?
yeah,
But if you
yeah.
wanted to do this for English, what is the process? I mean, what do you actually do in order to
You
create a
use the
product like
URL
this?
of your company.
Okay. And that
Uh,
should be sufficient for creating
yeah,
something that is like an 8 page where you have relevant content for pitching me as a
yeah.
customer for Genscom. Okay.
What we do is for our clients is we make a template
Hmm.
adapted to his brand, to
Hmm.
the client, and then
Hmm.
we create the links for
Hmm.
creating the content by AI, and there we use whatever they want to use,
Yeah,
the
of course.
URL
Yeah, of
or
course.
even a CRM or other things, or
Yeah, yeah, of
internal
course. Yeah.
documents. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I was the reason I was asking was just curious because when you tell me that, for example, the front page is made by combining sources from your website and from G's website, and then it becomes like a pitch that is very personalized. And it's
Uh,
funny when we talk about personalized information today because it's personalized but not personal, right? Because it's made by a machine, right? And that is the funny part because we are in that middle space where this is maybe a door opener for a further conversation about how this technology and the printed piece can open up for more business, and that's what we all want. We want to have something that is unique. We want to have a business opportunity, and that's what that was actually why I wrote to you, because I thought that this is. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I think it was like maybe 20 years ago. There was quite a few companies that were called like client publishing companies, where they came out and wrote stories about the customers, and they basically financed it by selling adverts to your own suppliers so they could do these kind of things. And the reason why I didn't like them so much was basically they were jeopardizing on my relations with a vendor or a supplier. And therefore, when I saw this one, I was like, this doesn't compromise me in any way. This is something where I think of this as a and I know that, of course, you can set advertising in it if you want to. So that is more like the business idea about it. But here is something that is easy to comprehend. It's a very physical media that you can use, and I think it looks great, to be honest. So I was just curious about a little bit about the background behind Genscom, but also how you address customers, and it's been interesting to learn.
yeah, good. No, but yeah, we're still working on it. But it's the client himself who makes the newspaper. This one we made in 10 minutes time.
10 minutes,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. That's our goal.
Yeah.
You, not more than 10 minutes to make a newspaper for anyone, between Inkish and another client, or Genscom and a client, and Genscom and Inkish. But uh, 10 minutes time maximum. That
Mm.
must be. And then you see it's the client himself who is creating it, or is making it, and he can control it. If he
Mm.
want to adapt something, he can adapt.
Mm.
That's it's not done by us
Mm.
for another.
Yeah,
Do it
understand that.
themselves.
Yeah. So basically, that also, so when I was looking at the cost of creating a newspaper, that was based on, let's say, I create the content or use the tools you have, but in case you wanted to do, let's say, a template that is specifically for me to be used in a specific way, then I buy that service from you, and from there I can buy the papers, right?
The business model is sort of subscription for a year with, let's say, 100, 500,000 credits.
Okay.
We do the setup. We make a layout. We make a template or different templates. We put the links in it for AI. We write the prompt to create the articles. We do the AI for the designing, and that's it. and we review it every year.
Fantastic. Stefaan, I want to thank you very much. We have been had a wonderful conversation here for 30 minutes, and I think I learned a lot, and I hope that the people that watches this will learn as well. And in the contacts, you can always reach out to Stefaan and his people, and maybe this is something for you. Who knows? I thank you very much for your time. I know you just came back from the holidays, so maybe you have tons of things to look into, but thank you for taking time to talk to me.
Okay, no problem. I'll send you a newspaper for English, between English and Genscom.
That would be fantastic.